So it's Prado who leads. Koldenhoff second, Herlin's third, Fernandez fourth, and just behind them, Valandren. So riders do need to push. They do need to be fighting for every single championship point. And Valandren, he is in 5th position. Won the qualifier, 2 race wins here last year. What a day that was. Gets alongside, closes the door. There was a slight mistake mid-turn there as well for Fernandez. All of a sudden, Valandren now up in the 4th place. Valandren has done a fantastic job at bridging the gap to the number 84. Track is only going to get worse. Herlings was sure there, and he knew it as well. He looked across, couldn't do anything about it, and Valandren goes through into 3rd. All of a sudden, all eyes on the 2 Yamahas, the factory Monster Energy Yamaha of Glenn Koldenhoff and the satellite Yamaha of Geben van Ruijs, Calvin Valandren. And he's finding himself battling for 2nd position. Visibility looks not the best at the end of that long straight. Oh, and Valandren down just through the right-hander, but he is out of 3rd place.
You know, obviously I came off of a great win here last season, so that's put the expectations high. You feel the pressure. I feel the pressure from the team, from the people around me, the fans. Everyone expects you to win. But it's, for me, motivation. I take it as a motivation because, you know, I'm in that position. In a few years I want to be fighting for a title. I want this feeling every weekend. My name is Calvin Valandren. I'm 26 years old. I'm a Dutch South African, and I'm a professional motocross rider. I find a good pace, and I was quite comfortable on the track, and I made some good passes, and I was passing Glenn for 2nd, and then I made a stupid crash. So yeah, I have a good feeling for tomorrow, so I'll focus on that.
Not injury?
No injury, just disappointed about the crash.
Okay, thanks to be here one more time.
Thanks.
And good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Calvin Valandren, ladies and gentlemen, please applause. This guy won last year, I remember. You remember? He's good. I'm sure he's doing a good race tomorrow.
Quickly pack up and then go.
You just want to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, better.
I like to do it all myself. For me, it's difficult to rely on people because I left home when I was at a young age, and I've had to do everything myself for many years. If something goes wrong, then I have myself to blame and no one else.
A little bit disappointed about the crash, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just yeah. It's just so I threw it away, you know. Yeah. So that's.
Okay, I hope it crashed like this instead of.
Yeah, I went in, and as soon as I went, because I came in quite tight.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of cut, but the sun was so low, so you couldn't see any of the lines, and my front just like went like this. And like went like this, and the back came up. I cut really well, and then I made a big mistake in the 2nd corner. I almost crashed. And Glenn, I thought he was going to go inside behind Prado, but he jumped to the outside in front of me into the 2nd corner, and then I tried to cut to try and. I was so angry when I came off the race. My front went like this. I couldn't have done much of a better start.
Yeah.
My start was like 99%. But after 10 minutes, you know, I take a step back and I'm like, man, 4 or 5 years ago, if you told me I was going to be passing Jeffrey Herlings in the sand, I would take that any day of the week. I always try to analyze the race You know, I always go through it in my head, what happened, what went wrong, what I could have done better. Second is really not good enough this weekend. I really want to be number one. I feel like I've shown in the past I've had good results. And to still be on a privateer team sometimes hits you and it can demotivate you. You need to believe that you're the best every weekend, not just some weekends. I think every weekend you need to believe that you're the best rider out there. But to be honest, I feel calm. I've put in the work. I've done what I've needed to do 100%. I haven't skipped any corners. So I'm feeling ready. Just focus on myself and try to do the best that Calvin can do. When you're behind the gate, you need to accept the risk of the sport that you're doing. If you don't accept that risk, then you shouldn't be behind the gate. You just need to focus on what you can control. I can control the gas, I can control the clutch, how it releases, I can control my reaction when the gate is dropping. You know, when you have 40 guys next to you and all revving the bike, it must be so loud, but it's almost silent.
Every single one of those riders, when they line up behind the gate, believes at some point, I could pull a whole shot today. The crazy thing about right-hand turns is, at some point the riders have to take their foot off the rear brake, so they're coming in a bit more committed, a bit more wild, a bit more, I won't say out of control, but there's definitely carnage every time in that first turn. The best way to describe bottomless sand, which is what Riola Sardo is even if you've never ridden a motocross bike, you may have ridden a bicycle, mountain bike, and if you've ridden close to the beach and you ride off of the tarmac onto the beach, all of a sudden you've come to pretty much a standing stop.
Oh, Siwa goes down hard.
And you can go over the handlebars.
Folds the front and then just can't get out of it. Look at that, just folded the front, buried the front.
So that's basically what bottomless sand is like for a motocross rider.
An absolute demolition job here by the Spaniard at the moment. And he wins race one here in Sardinia.
I mean, this track here in Riola Sardo is a really tough track. Everyone thinks the sand track that's tough is Lommel, but a lot of people talk about Riola Sardo being one of the toughest tracks. And it is going to be a grueling weekend for them. So I think it's a bonus for them to have this location, because not only are they at the racetrack and they're working hard at the races, but they can also get that escapism as well. Almost take that time out, regroup, refocus, and get ready for the next morning races. Now, this sand track here in Riola Sardo is well known to a lot of the MXGP paddock, with many of the teams and the riders coming here doing their winter testing, their winter training. And plus, added bonus, it's just got an incredible location.
Sardinia is actually a very one-of-a-kind track. It's in the dunes. It's very, very heavy, depending on the weather, of course, but it's going to be extremely tough, extremely rough. One-of-a-kind sand track, going to be normally in the favor of the Dutch riders. Where I'm coming from. Team name and your profession. Yeah. And I'm looking at you.
Hello everybody and welcome to the FIA Motocross World Championship Round 2. It's the MXGP of Sardinia, just off the west coast of Italy. Beautiful location.
My name is Glenn Koldenhoff, riding for Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MXGP team, and I'm from the Netherlands.
Is this going to be third time lucky for Jago Geerts? It's our third visit here. He's never stood on the top step of the podium. Jago Geerts arrives here as the championship leader, the red plate holder.
I must say the track here in Sardinia is pretty special. I cannot name any other track where you can prepare for this race. And I mean, you can come here in the winter and it's completely different than it's on racing. So, like I say, you cannot really prepare, but as I'm born in the sand in the Netherlands, you know, I'm quite used to.
The championship leader here in gate number 1. Kai de Wolf alongside him. Will there be some shenanigans between those two? Well, they keep it nice and straight. Into the first turn, once again, Oriol Oliver, but it looks like Geerts may have just grabbed the Fox hole shot. He certainly leads coming through the first couple of corners. Langenfelder there in second, Adamo, great start for the Italian in third. Kai de Wolf in fourth place, Oriol Oliver in
But are we recording now?
72 in sixth place, and then Beniston in seventh position.
Okay.
The 198, Roman Mosdijk possibly behind him there. Langenfelder there in second, Adamo, great start for the Italian in third. Kai de Wolf in fourth place. Oriol Oliver in fifth, and Everts just behind him, number 72 in sixth place.
Riola, it's very physical. I would call it's more like a gym, you know? It's not that much of sand riding, but more fighting through the bumps. The track gets very rough.
There'll be gnarly braking bumps through there. Those holes, as the day goes on, will get deeper. A gnarly selection of braking bumps.
You need to be very good physically. I think that's for sure one of the keys, and to go through the race and to feel good with your bike in the sand.
Your height.
My full name is Kai Wilhelmus Augustinus de Wolf.
Wait.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Okay, so
That's my. But oh, you mean just my normal name is just Kai de Wolf? Easier. We keep it that way.
De Wolf now the fastest rider on track. Geerts down in third place. A different mindset for Kai de Wolf. Ah, side by side. Makes no mistake, and he does find his way into the lead.
Yeah, sand riding is one of my favorite things. I just feel like a fish in the water. I can do whatever I want on those kind of tracks, and I will feel comfortable 99% of the time.
De Wolf looks like he is the one in control and in command. He looks over his shoulder, needs to get the final turn. Kai de Wolf wins his first race of the season, his third career victory. And it is game on in the championship once again.
Kai de Wolf, I think the change in him has been immense these past 2 years. A couple of years ago, he was essentially a kid coming into the GPs. He was a rookie, he was learning, and now he's very much a title contender. His aim is to fight at the sharp end every weekend. He was too eager for those race wins. He was pushing too hard, and because of that sense of urgency, he was making perhaps too many mistakes. So I think he's aware himself that he needs to maybe hold back a little bit, be a little bit more calculated and play it safe.
We picked him up when he was 13 years old, and I remember very well the first practice I did with him. He was not even a part of the team yet, he was still on 85. You could clearly see that there was something special. Some raw talent, some feel with the bike that you don't have from many guys.
The WZ Racing KTM rider and his two Monster Energy Yamahas behind him. Geerts gets squeezed by his teammate Beniston, and that allows De Wolf to go around the outside and into second position. De Wolf took a nervous look over the shoulder, and Geerts bullies him from the outside, takes over second position. Not sure De Wolf was expecting that. Talk about asserting your authority. And he goes into the lead immediately. Geertz leads on the opening lap.
Man. Kai De Wolf.
De Wolf surges by into second position. He does not want to let Geertz get away, because if it stays like this, they will tie on points. Geertz will win the Grand Prix.
Kai De Wolf is a fighter. He's a rider that is gonna want to push for that win, because he doesn't have that back catalogue of race wins at the moment. He has a couple, but not the same as Jago. He has been on the podium, but he's never won one.
150.3, Jago Geertz, that will be the fastest lap.
That race, he put everything into it. I mean, it was blood, sweat and tears.
It's going to take hard work. It's not going to be easy, and it's going to be very, very difficult.
It's the final lap.
I really hoped for the GP win. I've been already dreaming my whole life. This time I really felt like I could do it.
Exits the final turn. Geertz takes the flag. He takes the win. His 18th Grand Prix victory, 45 podiums. And Jago Geertz wins on his 93rd Grand Prix start. Does a number 93.
Well, in general, for me, Riola was one of the best, if not the best GP I've seen Kai race. It was difficult for Kai, you know. He's wanting this GP win for quite some time now, and this one hurt because, yeah, he really, really wanted it.
I think the level that those two showed was pretty amazing. You know, it was. I think when you look at the result, putting 40 seconds on third place, that's a good effort, I would say.
He came second, fantastic, and he put in a championship-winning performance. But he was slightly disappointed with the result, obviously because he wanted the race win, but I think it was his team that were hugely satisfied with that result.
To do it with a 1-2 was amazing. I felt really bad for him that it was not a 2-1, because many times he's been fighting for a GP victory. And yeah, now again it was so close, at the same point.
It's tough mentally, you know. The boy has worked extremely hard all year to get his first GP win, and then it's that close. We are talking 2 seconds from the GP win. You know, he followed Jago all the way. He gave it everything that he had.
It's difficult to get second so close to the winner after winning the first moto. But to not forget, we came here for a podium, so that's the only thing what makes it still good. And we work from here, so we keep fighting now for every weekend. I will keep fighting, and I've been pretty angry the last 2 weeks because of that, because I felt like I need to get that GP win as soon as possible for myself to finally get that relief. So we've been even training harder the past 2 weeks, and hopefully we can get it anytime soon.
I never doubt myself. But there are questions in my head coming like, am I still able to do it? Am I still able to improve myself? I did one lap, a pretty good one, so I thought for sure, you know, I was in first position.
Glenn Koldenoff up in the second place. So the Hoff 1.4 seconds adrift of Jorge Prado.
I was in second and quite a bit off of Prado. So we decided to go for another lap.
Koldenoff has gone down, and he is not moving. That does not look good for Glenn Koldenoff at the moment.
You know, I thought in the air, like, I can still manage it, I can just save it, but that didn't went like that.
And we've got a red flag situation going on here, so we will pause the clock, and that is paused.
So we decided to stay calm and just wait until the doctors arrived, and they took good care of me. When you arrive like at the doctors, they start talking about like what you have. Yeah, you have broken T2, 3, 4, but there is always that racer inside of me, and I think we always want to know and got told by the doctors, you know, when we can go back on the bike.
Holding off, it is who leads by almost 3 seconds.
I always believe that I can still win, and that's what I'm working for day in, day out, and that's why we are athletes. If you had this time, you know, from injury and then coming back, it's a big relief, because yeah, that's what you work for. So.
Glenn Koldenoff coming so close, though. Had it not been for that late charge, it would have been him on the top step this weekend. But on the top step of the podium once again. A good, clean run for Siwa once again. Valandren right there with him, and Febvre on the inside. But once again, Jeremy Siwa or Febvre, very close between those two. Where is Herlings? He is in 14th place. Wow, he's got some work to do.
Okay, another day, another dollar.
Herlings now to 10th, 4 positions gained. Herlings there in 7th. Van Donnick has been dispatched. And Herlings decisive to the inside, finds his way past Jorge Prado, moves into 6th place.
So I was like, okay, good, let's try to build up from here, and I just made steps forwards and forwards, and I wasn't stressed, not even one millisecond.
Everybody was riding pretty much on their limit until Jeffrey found another gear. But then it's almost like, and I think I said it in commentary.
Oh, we're going to see a little bit of Jeffrey time in the same way that we used to see Tony time. 10 minutes plus 2. Is there a little magic switch there that's just been flicked?
Once I went to speed up, and at that point I was fighting the bike less, I was fighting the track less, and actually riding just got way more comfortable with speeding up.
Nothing wrong with Herlings' visibility right now as he carves down the inside of Valandren, picks him off and takes 5th position away.
Even at that point for me, I was like, oof, this is gonna be tough to still stood on the podium.
He just bided his time, sat there, and then he realized that he had something extra to give.
Next rider in his line of sight, the number 91. Oh, and having a word with the bank over on the far side, Jeremy Siwa leaves the door open. Herlings goes through, now up in the 4th place.
Some of the riders might have possibly could get some tired on the end of the motos, so I knew if I would speed up for the last 10 to 15 minutes, I knew I would be close to where I eventually finished.
But look at Herlings closing in fast. There's going to be 3 laps to go, but none as quick as Herlings. Look at him just gaining hand over fist. This is going to be for the overall Grand Prix victory if he finds his way past Renault.
He was sitting there quite comfortable behind the 2 guys ahead of him, and all of a sudden it was as if he just got bored sitting there behind them.
But it's still down to Herlings to find his way past Febvre because he needs those vital points. Febvre comes back to the inside, the 2 Frenchmen clash. Herlings will say, cheers, I'll take that. He goes around the outside. He's in 4th place. He's up into 3rd, and they, oh! He runs him to the outside. Wow. And now Febvre looks across, sees Herlings closing in on him. He gets held up behind the Frenchman, and they are 3 abreast going into turn 4. What a race, what a final few laps. And he's alongside Renault again. He rehearsed this a lap ago. And this time it works. Herlings into 3rd place. And around the outside for 2nd immediately. We are looking at a potential Grand Prix winner here. But Jeffrey Herlings is fight through the pack. He will win the Grand Prix of Sardinia. What a ride for the Red Bull KTM rider.
Motocross is it's such a mental thing. It messes with your mind. Do I have what it takes? Not physically, but mentally. Do I still have it?
Yeah, definitely inside. It was a bit emotional because it was my first GP win again over 1 year and 4 months, more or less. All the injuries I've had and the surgeries which I had last year.
You know, there is so much going on that we don't see, that only they realise that they're battling demons. So to overcome all of that, for him was huge.
No, deep inside I was emotional, even though sometimes on the outside it didn't look that way.